Hi, I'm Marlow Felton.
Cheers!
Cheers, it's happy hour with the Feltons.
I'm Chris. I got my hair cut.
This is Chris. He got all of his hairs cut.
All my hairs.
Oh, I got a hair on my lip here.
Okay.
So we're here today.
Press record.
Honey.
Oh!
Gosh. Now we are live. You are live with the Feltons in our living room. We're having Prosecco, and
This is my second drink.
It is not.
It is. I had a drink.
Oh, that's right. It is.
This came from the event.
Yes. Anyway,
You don't
we're
care.
here today to share with you 12 characteristics of financially harmonious couples. We're going to share with you 4 today. And one of them is not drinking Prosecco at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's not?
And well, maybe it should be. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, number 1.
All right. So number 1 is they say and they feel that they are on the same page. So they don't just say they're on the same page. They actually feel that they're on the same page financially. And because they actually talk about money and have mature adult conversations about their goals and dreams and where they are financially and where they want to go. It's important. So
Yeah, no, I mean, if you sat down 100 couples and said, what's the number 1 thing you're focused on, or what's your number 1 financial goal, or what's your top 3, like, they couldn't
Yeah,
do
they
it,
couldn't
right?
tell you.
Or you get one of them that's like, well, she's in charge of that, or he's in charge of that, or that's his thing, or, we see it all the time, kind of
Right.
the old school, like, he does that, and there's no conversation around it, which can turn into
a disaster.
pretty much a disaster. So
Yeah. So So the first, and this is a blog that that I wrote, and I included the link so you can read the full blog and read. Bless
Excuse me.
you.
This is live.
We're live.
We're
Did
live.
we mention that we're live?
sorry, I'm just gonna.
I wonder what else. Could happen. We do have a dog and a cat in the room, so you never know what's going to happen.
Okay.
Anyway, so I provided
Do not try this at home.
I provided the link to the blog, 12 characteristics of financially harmonious couples. So you can click on that and read all 12 of them. We don't want to keep you in suspense, but we're only going over the top 4. And the first one we just covered is they feel and say that they're on the same page. So they have money conversations. They know how to have effective money conversations, and they know where they're going together as a couple. Very, very important. And then the second one is they have a mutually agreed upon segregation system that works for them. So what? I don't know why I have the giggles now. Oh my gosh, you don't want to know what he just did. Okay, it's so embarrassing, honey. Honey, I'm never doing a live video with you ever again. Cheers.
It's Prosecco. It
Cheers.
Kind of makes me belchy. Anyway. All right. We're just
So
humans.
the second one is they have a mutually agreed upon segregation system. So in our book, Couples Money, I talk about yours, mine, and ours. Segregating money as a couple, but also segregating for different goals and dreams that you have. Segregation of funds is incredibly important, and it's really important that a couple be on the same page about what their segregation system is. So, hey, Jim, how are you?
It's Jim Tabasco.
It is. I haven't talked to Jim in a long time.
Jim.
Good to hear from you, whatever.
You guys
this
make
is.
pretty babies.
Yes, you do. Cheers. It's happy hour with the Feltons.
Saltina High.
Yes. What I talk about in Couples Money is the yours, mine, and ours, the money buckets, and the fun for each of us. So it's, my fund and his fund. So we segregate out our fund so that we don't play financial tug of war with our fund funds. And then we have the household expenses, we have our retirement accounts, we have the Christmas account, we have the travel account, we have, you know, a variety of different accounts that are earmarked. Without the segregation, there's not any accountability, and it's really easy to get off track because when you see money in one bucket and you think, oh, well, hey, we've got plenty of money to go do this or that, and you don't realize that you're taking money from, you know, the kids' college fund or your next vacation that you want to take, or take money away from Christmas and all that kind of stuff. So segregation of funds and having a system that works is one of the really important characteristics of a financially harmonious couples. Wouldn't you say? It works for us.
Well, yeah, and we did our little test last week with one of our wealthy mentors who lives a big life, and you're like, man, how does he live such a big life? Well, he makes big income.
Right. That's always important.
Well, but he's never got out of the ratios of, you know, hey, 25% of your income needs to be personal expenses, and if you're an entrepreneur out there, you know, 25% needs to be business expenses, and then 50% savings, taxes, tithing. So, we hadn't done that ratio test in a while until last week to know that, yeah, we're, you know, well below that 50% combined because we're entrepreneurs, right? Making sure that our home expenses, personal expenses, business expenses
don't exceed 50%.
Yeah, under that mark. And so, for people that are kind of employees or whatever, like, you know, if your personal expenses are well over that 50%, then you need to cut. But often, especially in the middle class, there's not a lot to cut, right? And so that's an indication that you need to make
more money.
And you better find a side hustle or side entrepreneur business, which you can do these days that you couldn't do, 15, 20 years ago. So
side hustle sounds kind of weird.
No, that's
sounds like a lot of work.
No, that's the term.
I know it's the term, but
that's the terms. Side hustle.
I got it.
All right, go.
All right, so number 3, the third characteristic of financially harmonious couples, other than drinking Prosecco at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's 4:05.
In their living room. Yeah, it's 4:05 now.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right. So the third one is they focus on what they want and communicate and plan around it constantly. So Chris and I are very clear. Well, I know I'm very clear of what I want, aren't I? I'm very clear. I'm crystal clear on what I want, and I communicate it to Chris.
What do you
want?
want?
And we strategize around it.
What do you want right now?
We don't need to talk about it. They really don't care. They're.
She knows what she wants.
I do. Anyway, we talk about it every day.
It's not just this guy. It's something else.
Anyway, but Chris and I know what we want. We know what we want together, and we talk about it. We plan around it. We don't just say, "Hey, that'd be great one day." It's like, no, this is what we want. This is the life we want to live, and let's put, pen to paper, or, and figure this out and draw up a plan. So, I have a want. I have a big one. And he's not laughing. Why aren't you laughing, honey? It's funny. Come on. But we had a good conversation about it recently, and we
checked our ratios.
We checked our ratios, and we ran some numbers of where we both need to be before we do this. And, we're both on the same page, and we're very clear of what we need to do before we move forward with this purchase. So it's important to know what you want, but it's very important also to have a plan and put a pen, write it out, crunch the numbers, and make it a reality. Segregate a fund, so set up an account for it. So that was one of the first things that I did months ago when we had this goal in mind. Is I knew
her goal.
whatever, it's our goal. You can't tell me you don't want it too. Anyway, so when we had this goal, I knew that I had to set up an account, because when you set up the account and you name it what that goal is, whatever it might be, whether it's the trip, the car, the house, whatever it is, and you name it, then you have a visual and you know exactly how much is in that account to go towards that goal. And so that's what I did months ago, and it's very, very powerful. So if you have a goal in mind, that's my tip of the day, on top of the other tips we're sharing today, is the most important thing you can do is just set up an account for it and name it, so you can identify all those dollars. And what an interesting thing will happen is you'll start finding money to put in that account when you do that. It's very, very powerful.
Well, I think, the most important part of that, right? So it says they focus on what they want, communicate and plan around it constantly. They focus on what they want. Mm-hmm. That's the key. So there's a lot of people, say, this is what I want, and they kind of hope that it happens, but they actually expect that it won't. And you don't get what you want, you get what you expect.
Right.
And that's a huge concept. And then they focus really on what they don't want. They focus on the things that aren't working. They focus on, debt. They just focus on a lot of negative stuff, and they don't get really, most people never get clear, and then they don't really have that single-minded purpose, driven focus towards that, and they don't take inventory of a list of, why do I want it? How am I going to feel, right? And then brainstorming all the different ways that can happen. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, because when you're in that space and you have that goal, you're more open to opportunities. When you're focused on solutions and not focused on, why it can't work. And that's when the magic really happens. And really just taking some time to really brainstorm. So Chris and I have actually had some brainstorming sessions about how we can increase our income, how we can redirect funds, and a bunch of different ideas, creating multiple streams of income, things like that, to make this dream a reality, because we are very clear that it's going to happen. So that is a very, very important one, and that was the third one I shared with you, is they focus on what they want and communicate and plan around it constantly. And then the fourth one, I love this one, is they respect money, theirs, each other's, and other people's money. So they respect anyone's need and want to have money, because they believe that the universe is abundant and everyone can be wealthy, and want that for everyone. So they respect not just their own money, but especially when you're in a relationship, it's important that you respect your spouse's needs and wants, and their goals and dreams and all that kinds of thing too. So it's very, very important.
Well, respect for money, that's
a big one.
I mean, that's a game changer, because I didn't forever, right? And so people that struggle, and I haven't met one person. I mean, I had multiple conversations with people this week that had it's just $5, oh, it's just $10, oh, it's just $100, oh, it's just that, and we're fairly repetitive on this concept, but the people that Marlow interviewed in our book, Couples Money, no, I mean, it was money of all sizes, all denominations. There was a respect, not a love and worship of, but a healthy, respect. And
right.
Multiple conversations this week with people, and they're struggling, they have debt, they have issues and challenges, and we were able to guide them. But this concept of respecting money was a real eye-opener for them, because your associations also, everyone they associate with have it's just 5, oh, it's just 10, oh, it's just that. And so one of the major points of becoming financially independent is it's not really about the money. It's about the peace of mind and the freedom and the things you can do with it and
Right.
the service you can bring to others. But money likes to be appreciated. I mean, in every relationship, people like to be appreciated, right?
Right.
And a just 5, just 10, there's no appreciation there, right?
Right.
There's a lack of it. And so money's energetic, and it's not going to go to some place. Just like any relationship, you're not going to go to a relationship where you're not appreciated, right? You're going to be around people that appreciate you. Money wants to be around those that appreciate what it brings.
Right, yeah, so respecting money, any and all amounts that come into your life. It's one of the characteristics, as I interviewed numerous financially independent couples for our book, Couples Money, that was the common denominator. You wouldn't see them saying, oh, it's just $20 or, and just like kind of mindlessly throwing money away or dismissing money. No, they're grateful for any and all amounts of money that flow into their life, and they're not going to waste money on things that don't add any value to their life. So that's a fourth one, is the respecting money and respecting your spouse's needs and wants and their money and other people's money is just as important, because how we treat other people's money is really just a direct reflection of our own worthiness to have wealth as well. So incredibly, incredibly important. So so those are the top 4. We're going to share more of them with you because there's 12, and that would be a really long. We would probably lose you guys.
And you're already over us right now, so.
But I did include the link to the blog, so you can read the blog. So we won't keep you in suspense. So go ahead and read the blog with all 12 of the characteristics of financially harmonious couples. And, we've learned a lot from all these couples. How many dozens of financially independent couples that I interviewed to come up with this list.
And thousands that we've been in front of.
Right, yeah. So
one to one.
Right.
So
because we know what unharmonious couples look like, too.
Guys, this stuff's not theory, right?
Right.
We didn't just throw it out here just
No.
so we could sell a book, right?
We didn't.
This is stuff that works.
Yeah, it was like 20 years in the, at the time, maybe 15 years of
So when we're in
meeting
front
with
of
clients.
we're in front of couples, and if you're a single out there too, right? Like, number one, they say and feel they're on the same page. So hopefully, with you, like, am I congruent with what I want, right? In my actions. Do you have a segregation system? Are you focusing on what you want versus what you don't want? And do you respect money, theirs, and others, right? And so, so it's couples money, but you do the check on this, for you as a single too. And then hopefully you marry and have this conversation prior to, right?
Prior to getting married, do have the conversation before you get married. So, so after, we can say now, after about 20 years in the financial services industry, that this list has been tried and true, and we really have yet to see an exception to a financially independent couple in these characteristics. And we've experienced it personally because we knew that we had to take on those characteristics ourselves if we were going to be financially independent. So hopefully you can learn from that, and you did learn from our happy hour today that was very educational. Cheers. Thanks for joining us. It's Prosecco Saturday, I guess. That's what it is here at the Feltons. Click the link and read the full blog, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend.